Stay-at-home orders have been put in place in more than 40 states to slow the spread of the coronavirus. They can be dangerous for domestic violence victims. Some are now forced to be in constant contact with their abuser, and the orders may have limited ways to get help. CBS News politics reporter Grace Segers has been reporting on this, and she joins me now from Alexandria, Virginia. Grace, good to see you. This is such an important topic. First of all, how has the pandemic made domestic violence survivors more vulnerable?
Thanks, Elaine. Well, first and foremost, one of the biggest issues with domestic violence is that it's rooted in power and control. So in times of uncertainty or instability, abusers are more likely to lash out. And obviously right now we're in a time of extraordinary uncertainty where people are losing their jobs, they're having trouble making rent. And so that makes it more dangerous for domestic violence victims who are being trapped at home with their abusers who may be even more likely to harm them given these uncertain circumstances.
And so, Grace, given all of that, what long-lasting effects could these lockdowns have on those who've experienced abuse and their children?
Well, it can be extremely traumatic for those who have experienced abuse, in particular because they are unable to make it to their workplace or for children to make it to their schools. And often it's in the workplace or at schools that other people are able to see that something isn't quite right and are able to help that person who is undergoing abuse to connect with the proper resources. But if they're unable to leave their home and to connect with those people who may be able to help them, it can be extremely traumatic for them as they are trapped with their abusers day in and day out.
And so, Grace, what are some resources that domestic violence victims can turn to during this time?
Well, first and foremost, if anyone is in immediate danger, it's extremely important to call 911. Otherwise, in most states with stay-at-home orders, domestic violence shelters are considered essential services. So many domestic violence shelters across the country are still open and are accessible for people who need them. There's also a 24/7 domestic violence hotline at 1-800-799-7233, or you could go to thehotline.org to chat with someone if you don't feel comfortable making a call. There are resources available. And one more thing I would say would be to people who are not experiencing abuse, but who may know someone who is in that situation, reach out to that person. It's incredibly important for these people experiencing abuse to have community right now, because isolation is a really big tool for abusers, and therefore it's important for those who are being abused to feel as if they have a community and have people looking out for them.
That is such a great point, Grace, for people to maintain the connections that they have, especially if someone that they know is in one of these situations. All right, CBS News politics reporter Grace Segers. Grace, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
At least 18 people were killed.